Hello, 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 everyone. Hello, hello, hello. So, I really don't know how going live on YouTube works, but I really wanted to use this opportunity to talk about a topic um, that has been sitting on my heart. One of the topics that I want to get into today is Girl, I'm Healing. So, this is a podcast that I have created with the help of some other people that opens up the platform for women who are healing, have already healed, um, going through the healing process, not really sure. I've opened up the space for you ladies to come in and have some conversations about past experiences, the journey, the highs, the lows, the ups, the downs. Um, of the healing process. I've had gentlemen come on and kind of talk about what healing looks like to them in terms of women and some of the things that they feel like women can do to improve their healing process. Now, you don't have to take on the opinions of these gentlemen, but I just feel like hindsight is 2020, and it's good to hear um, other insights about the way we present sometimes as females. Also, I used the Kevin Samuels approach and kind of wanted to see how people felt about that, especially women. Like, did you guys appreciate that? I hear a lot of mix of different things. I hear women who say, they appreciated Kevin Samuels because he came with the raw truth and he was real. I hear a majority of other women who say, although they did appreciate what he said, his approach is what really caused him not to be able to embrace what he was saying fully. So, Girl, I'm Healing is a space where we can accept constructive criticism and embrace um, growth and healing. Now, I want to jump off that and I want to jump into this topic that has really been pressing me. And this was my decision to um, revert to Islam. I kind of want to get into that. So I met this wonderful individual who, of course, um, was Muslim. And this individual really started off with showing me the intensity and the desires that they had towards the Islamic faith. And not only showing me, but also, showing um, through teaching me different things about why they had accepted this call or felt pressed to revert to um, the Islamic faith. So as I went through the couple of years, about 2 or 3 years of really just talking and chatting about, where I was spiritually. Of course, my family's Christian and I grew up in a Christian household. And so speaking about other religions is already taboo. Like, not even allowed to have a conversation about anything that could possibly lead you to hell. And growing up in the environment, the cultural influences that I had talking about Islam is a no-no. Um, but when I met this person, I started to see the desire, like the faithfulness to, the prayers, the faithfulness to the expectations of being Muslim, the constant community service aspect, um, the constant encouragement to other Muslims. Like, I actually got to witness dedication, and I think that was something different for me coming from a Christian background. A lot of times of course, we worship and thank Jesus, and think nothing of it. But I remember one time saying, I'm so grateful, and I thank Jesus for everything He done. And someone has said to me, well, why do you not thank God, or why do you thank Jesus over God, who's the creator of everything? And so, of course, the Trinity comes up, and I'm talking about the Trinity and so forth and so on. And instead of rebutting me and making me feel like, I was wrong, or, what I was saying didn't make sense, the individual just kind of was like, I understand, and just really began to continue to share with me their passion towards the Islamic faith. That right there made me feel as if I was more drawn to it. And it was really because of the example that was placed in front of me. Um, and so I became curious and interested. And even though this person was nourishing me and teaching me these different things and, talking to me about their faith, um, it was kind of hard to like move myself to that space because I felt like I was violating so much of, what I was taught. I felt like I was denouncing, God, Jesus, and the Lord, and I was um, really challenging something that I had come to understand to be my life all my life. So it was a struggle. And I remember this particular individual giving me a website to a Muslim lady who gets online, and she had talked about her journey and everything that she had experienced, which was super exciting to me because of course we share the same background. And she would discuss like different things like how how much fear she had with telling her family, and the removal of eating certain foods and stuff like that. I mean, just the whole discipline aspect, things that people want to know, like, how do you do this? Like, what got you to this point? How did you know this is the road that you wanted to go down? And so after watching her for a while, I got up under her post and, started asking some questions. Like I had made one video and, was kind of sharing my interest, and having some questions about, how it appears to look for a female, which I didn't know very much about because of course a person, who was talking to me about Islam was a male. And there wasn't a lot that he could share with me about the female aspect of it, but he still was setting an example in terms of what should be expected. So when I sent my first video, there was no response. And so I didn't take it personal because I'm like, when you have that many followings or followers, um, of course, you can't check every single message. And you're not always going to be able to respond to every single person. Um, but then as I thought about that, I was like, the main idea of faith is to share with other people so that they are able to embrace what it is that you have come to know to be true. Um, it's kind of like what I do for a living. I work in the mental health field. And so there are times when I've had to make myself available in spaces that I don't want to be available in. But because there is a desire um, for that from me, from God, who put me in that space, I remain available. There are times when I miss calls and I miss messages, and or I'm live or I'm sharing, something with someone, or I'm not even in a space where I can really accommodate, but I do go back and I do look back and I do make sure that I'm doing everything that I possibly can with the help of God to meet the needs of his people. Now I'm pretty well known where I'm from, been there for a while. And of course, I work in a community. So I'm pretty well known where I'm at. And of course, that can be an ego booster and make me feel, certain things about stuff at times, which is understandable, but I want to close with this, regardless of how I got to where I am and who I am now, I still have to remember whose I am. God has chosen me to be in this specific space. And I feel like had I had been able to reach out to this young lady and actually speak with her and actually get a better understanding of what being Islamic looks like for a woman, I would have reverted. I would have taken my, which I think is called the Shahada, not really sure. I would have crossed over, into the space, and I felt like I would have been comfortable, enough to pursue this and walk fully in the Islamic faith. It just so happened that that didn't happen. And so the opportunity that could have been there for me wasn't really created for me because this particular individual was already living in their fame. And so a lot of going backwards and trying to uh, meet the needs of people who are not in the environment that this person was in um, didn't seem like a priority to that person. But I did get a lot of responses from people who were on that page, probably over 300, maybe 400 something responses from both videos that I put there. So that was good. I just wanted to share this, and I wanted to end with you have to be mindful of other people. Like people rely on people. They rely on people. And sometimes it'll be the words that you don't say that will stop people from getting to where they need to get at. Um, Thank you guys for listening. And I pray you have a best rest of your day. Don't forget, Girl, I'm Healing. That platform is for women who are healing, have already healed, have not healed. Um, Whatever it is, come join me on Twitch. I'm on Facebook. My page is called Girl, I'm Healing. Um, you are not going to regret it. And the fellowship with other women is like there's no words to explain having people to having people who understand what you've been through, what you're going through, and who are there to help support you through that journey, whatever that looks like. Again, thank you guys. Talk to you later.